Happy New Year's Eve. So the other day I posted a video about making some firewood, and I'm going to do a little bit more of that today. But more specifically, I want to do a review of this log splitter I have. So this is a Champion 27-ton hydraulic log splitter. I've owned this for about a year. I actually bought it with my dad. We split the cost of it. Admittedly, it's probably not enough runtime to really speak much of any worthwhile position about the longevity and the durability of a machine after only about a year and 60, 70 hours of use. But in terms of using it, functionality, and just kind of initial build quality, I think it's plenty of time. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a few things of this machine that I really like. So the controls are really simple. You've basically got a choke and a run position on the fuel over here. And you can also turn the fuel off, which I really like for pieces of equipment that aren't really going to be run day in and day out. When it's time to put it up for a few months, you turn the gas off, let it burn out the fuel bowl, and you don't have to worry about any gasoline sitting in your car. Although I am a non-ethanol fuel purist for small engines like this, it's still better to not leave gas in the carb if you don't have. So you've got an on-off switch right there, your fuel fill right there. It does have a little fuel gauge. That's your hydraulic fill. And there is a sight glass for your hydraulic oil right there. And you've got your lever control for sending the ram back and forth right here. It does have a feature that I like, which is an auto return. So if you just tap it, I think it just comes right back, which can be nice. You don't have to hold it the whole way it comes back. You've got a hydraulic fluid filter right here. Here's your hydraulic pump. And this cross member functions as your hydraulic reservoir, which I think is kind of a nifty little feature. It does have tires that are rated up to 45 miles an hour. So if you needed to kind of run it down the street to your neighbor's house or something, you probably could get away with it. I certainly wouldn't feel comfortable taking it much farther than that. Has a 2-inch ball on it with safety chains, and this is a horizontal or a vertical log splitter. So this would be in the vertical configuration. If you were working with some really, really big stuff, you didn't feel like you could pick up and put on the machine, you could split it apart down here and then flip it back down. I find it much easier to run it in the horizontal position, but it's nice to be able to have that option. So it's got a 224cc engine that really starts very, very easily for me. And also one of the other things I like is this pull cord. Instead of just having a T-handle, this is a lot more comfortable, and I like that touch. I think that's a good thing to have. So I'm going to do a quick little startup. This thing is cold. Haven't started it yet today. It was cold last night. I'll do just to try and show you how easy it is to get this thing going. If I had remembered to choke it, that probably would have been a 1-pull start, but you tell it starts up really easy. So you can look up the specs in any log splitter you want, but the thing that's kind of difficult to really understand is the practical use of it in terms of how much firewood can I make with this machine in a given amount of time. So that's what I'm going to do today. I have a empty IBC tote. I got a bunch of rounds. What I'm going to do is I'll film a time lapse of getting it filled up and time it so that, this is a 275 gallon tote. So this is a little less than 1/3 of a quart. And we'll see how long it takes to fill that up and then kind of extrapolate out how long it'd take you to split a full quart. that took right at 45 minutes of pretty moderate pace to fill up a 275 gallon IBC tote slam full of firewood. Here we are, nice and full. Splitter ran great, no hiccups. I thought I might have to stop and fill up with fuel. It was full yesterday when I started splitting. That's actually a 330 over there. And then, so basically you're looking at about 2/3 of a cord to 1 tank of gas. And I don't really know how big the tank is. I'm sure it's something I could look up, but it does not take a lot of gas to fill it up. And that's a pretty good long, so let's probably call it almost 2 hours worth of runtime on a tank. Has a little bit more wood. I like I said earlier, I tried really hard not to like feel like I was rushing or anything, but basically 45 minutes for a basket seems pretty reasonable to me. I was hoping to be a little closer to 30. So in terms of anything that's gone wrong with this machine, there used to be some reflectors right here that vibrated off probably within the first 4 hours of use. One of the other things I don't particularly love, I'm glad that it has something. These racks right here, I wish they were quite a bit bigger, particularly the one on the other side. If you're working with any sort of wood that's bigger than 7 or 8 inches, you really kind of run out of places to put it. So I often just end up dropping it on the ground behind me once I split something in half and then picking the other half back up. You could put that squarely in the nice to have category, and it's certainly something that could be altered or fabricated to be larger. Maybe not me. I'm not the world's best fabricator, although I am getting better. It's probably not, it's not the end of the world. It's not like I want to go get a new splitter because of it. But if that shelf would be bigger, it would be a lot more functional. One of the worst parts about that shelf not being bigger is when something falls off the other side, it falls right onto this fender, which I've done a lot. I'm sure my dad has done a lot. And as you can see, it's a little bent up. It's not the end of the world, but it does kind of, if that had been designed more robustly, it wouldn't be as much of a problem. I do think the blade profile, the wedge profile on this is pretty efficient. It's pretty sharp and skinny for a little bit and then bulks out a pretty good amount. I find this splitter very rarely has to go to the stage 2 of the pump. Most everything I put on it, it just blasts right through. When you do go to stage 2, it does slow down a lot though. If you're thinking about adding any more gas cans to your life, I just really like these Wavian cans. They are expensive, but they just do such a good job. And you can get them with free-flowing spouts, where you don't have to deal with that government EPA malarkey that makes you want to pull your hair out. Some of the gas cans you have to deal with nowadays are just so frustrating, you hate to use them. These work great. They're simple, they're really tough. You'll have them the rest of your life. And this is the only 10-liter one I have, but I find I use it a lot for stuff like this, just because it's lighter and more compact. And oh look, there's a puppy. Hey Boomer. Boomer, do you want to be in the video? So one of the things we've been doing out at our homestead is finding whatever protein sources we can enjoy. And when I split wood, you often find these big giant grubs in there, and they are just an excellent source of protein. And they actually are. I'm just kidding. I'm never going to eat bugs. The government wants you to. Don't listen to them. Probably couldn't tell from the time lapse, but man, I was pulling these grubs out left and right. This thing is, that is a heavy duty bug. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Why'd you split apart my home? I like that home, you punk. So for someone like me that cuts and splits 4 to 5 cords a year, my dad does about the same. This is all I could ever need. You know, I'm not selling firewood. It is so romantic, isn't it? Right? Selling some firewood, but I'm producing it as a supplemental heating source and certainly an ambiance enhancer in my house. I have a wood burning stove air insert in my living room, and that does a really good job of keeping most of the house pretty warm if I keep the fire going. I was going to be somebody that was going to need a lot more wood per year, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 cords. I would probably move. Just kidding. I would probably buy a different splitter. But for what I wanted to spend and the quality that I got, I think this Champion 27-ton unit really meets all my expectations, really frankly exceeds my expectations, and I really enjoy using it. And I'm going to look forward to using it for years to come. If I was just going to wave a magic wand and get something else, I think one of those vertical log splitters with the hydraulic log lift, like an Easton-made Axis or something like that, would probably be, you know, just like if money was no object and I just could have whatever toy I wanted, I'd probably get that. But everything's a calculation. I'm happy with the calculation I made for this, and I think you would be too. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. If I'd love to hear what log splitter anybody out there is using and what they think of it. If anybody has a Champion 27-ton log splitter and there's a known problem with it, appreciate you telling me that too, something to look out for. And all in all, just thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and stay tuned for more. Make sure to subscribe. There's a lot of big, exciting announcements coming on the Landfather YouTube channel, and I'm so excited about all the momentum my channel's picked up recently, and excited for all of you guys to be a part of it. So thank you so much, and stay tuned.